and you put the matzahs in. They can't be in too short, can't be too long. You don't go start learning chittas and rambam when it's in the oven. Stand in the kitchen.
My parents don't do it.
Huh?
My parents don't do it.
Why?
I don't know.
So
5 minutes.
yeah. So anyway, the matzahs we have, you don't have to do it because they're built. They're pretty fresh. If you're buying in the store and they start after Sukkot already. But most of these places, Hanukkah, they're already fully in operation.
Yeah.
Fully in operation, Hanukkah. So so like when I asked them, Haytochen is giving me Shushan Purim, she said, next year call me on Yutas Kislev and I'll give you a better day. Yutas Kislev. I should call him on Yutas Kislev. Okay. Let's go. Let's move. Yeah. Tzarech sheyelech v'tzarech lezor sheyel kol gachol av nekula ketalachos kol v'dayin daila lachshir balahav b'vad l'fishkol shekol shkamoy shekol ashon ashonef chometz b'teich b'lo imam shedei gecholem shapaz. I said the Tana Kedemafia kacho pelta dei gecholem. So therefore the gecholem has to sit on the entire surface of the Tana. Lafikach afilu misikul kam pam kol pesach and matzah lahasik lahater lefes b'matzah lachetchila kol elim kain. If we say if a person has a mind to kasher it, he's going to do it the right way. If a person says, I heated the oven 3 times, I did nothing in the oven, it doesn't matter because If he didn't have in mind and he just once was matzah gatan, we say the oven is also that you can't use this matzah. If several times he was masik, still lechatchila you shouldn't use, because lechatchila we say it's lava daite. You only when you have in mind to do so. Oh, you did it right. יש נגן להקל בתאנה קרקע חדש כדי שלא יצטרך להשאיר את ההסק שחמצה בלא בגלל בקרץ הנקלטי ליבון שלבס שמסיכנס שלבס במצה מנהיג יופו בלבד שיתילו בקרקע וכדי אצבע יויסר הפני כולה ולתלכה מעצסנו מאלס כלום שאין מעסק נגיע לחמצה בלא בקרקריסי שם שלא יצא לחוץ. There has to be a thick amount of sand that they put on the karka in order to say that it's like a new tanu. And then the fire goes up and we say the walls and the gag is gekashed that way.
He's putting the
matzah on the karka. Yeah. I mean, every bakery is that way. You're putting it on. I mean, we don't use karka today. They use pedis or stone.
It's by the Alter Rebbe. It says coal. They use coal.
Right.
When you buy any takeouts, right? They have like a piece of what is it called? Not stainless steel, like metal. Thick, like a 1-inch metal, square, and underneath they have boner. It's really boner. How come you don't make matzah like this?
Okay, you could. We'll talk about it in a second. The emphasis is that you could, but it's not so. It's not
only stones.
Everybody
has stones.
We could.
My grandmother in Auschwitz, that's how they made matzah.
Wow.
On top of metal bowls.
Wow. How do you know this? Wow. Picture?
No,
pictures. She didn't have any pictures. I'm sure she had in her head. She had a picture. Shashira de Hesek Toy V'Yoshur L'Gorfel and Lakoi say to Acher Hesek V'Lamta Chitzana K'tzas V'Acher Yazu V'Zikav Shenes Lapis V'Matzah Shim La Hesek Enu Shenes Aliyah from B'Meyad Acher Shugor V'Agachol Macher Hesek Rishon Cheinim Lo Yan Tim Bein Hesek L'Hesek Ad Chitzana K'tzas V'Shloch Hashem Lo Hesek Enu Heitev Kol Kach V'Hesek Rishon Shem Masek L'Achshiri L'Pishiyore Shelo Yosef V'Matzahs Shef V'Ach Hesek Rishon or Ach Hesek Sheni. He's kashering the oven. This only applies when you're kashering the oven. We're scared that the guy is not going to kasher it well because he doesn't want it to be too hot when he bakes the matzah. So we say you have to kasher it, let it cool off, and then put in more wood to make it hot for the baking. Now we'll talk about your shaila. Tafka shel chedesh chadosha. D'haina klisha masekin tachta melamata v'oifen al gaba melamayla. He's talking about zacheres. The same thing will be legabi metal. That the fire is not, the fire is underneath. Mutter lefels of a matzah. Give me shel tachta v'nirtach yofa. Ava pisha and shalavas oila al gaba. Pas nefes miyad vein abod de chimutz. Aval yesh lezor lahasek tachta v'tchila. Ad sheyidia merutach heitev V'achkach yadbik pas al gabos, like what we call preheat the oven. Because if you're going to put in the matzah and the oven is heating at the same time, we're scared that it'll become chametz before it gets baked. Think shayf and for the balamashka. If he could even do it in a frying pan. Yizol lahasik tacht of tchilat shim or tachete v'achkach yadbik pas batach shim yadbik pas matchil v'achkach echetenu. Yishloch Hashem akodim shim murutach hetev tach mitzapas. Say you're going to have a hot frying pan. So if you're going to it's going to be hot enough that as soon as the dough hits the frying pan, it turns into matzah. Otherwise, it'll turn into chametz before it gets a chance to turn into matzah.
I never saw somebody making the house matzah.
No, never saw that. I feel with the Evid. Okay. Im Sommer matzah al nayer betechatan al afois al nayer. In lahachmer ba the Ovid shebavad shalom ba choima or. Derech hanayr v'nefes v'mehede koyin shetas b'lischametz. Aval achatchila toiv l'zor shelo lasses kain. Not to put paper
Like
under
baking paper.
Not to put like exactly.
You don't want it to stick to the.
Right, you don't want it to stick. The problem is that l'achatchila shouldn't do it because the heat might not pass through well.
How does Sfarim make lafa matzah?
Oh, that's right.
Shmua matzah lafa.
It's all.
It's more new.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the trick, and I'll tell you why the Ashkenaz no do. You talk about it in a second. But it's all the proportion of the water and the flour. It's all water and flour. That's it. It's all water and flour. So what gives?
It's supposed to be less than 18 minutes. That's it. That's the key.
So it's all the same thing. Elamai, the proportion of the water and the flour is what gives. That's it. The proportion of water and flour.
Put more water so the dough is more lafa, more like.
Yeah. So the Ashkenazim are nervous about what we'll talk about. So because they're nervous about it, so therefore they're making very hard matzah. So Lamashal, the bakeries in the way they want to put a little more water because everything goes faster. So, for example, when we go to bake, I right away in the morning I tell a few people I'm going to give them a good tip if they do everything I tell them. One of them is the guy that the Maida. I tell him right away. I'm going to give you a nice tip. If you play ball. So right away he whispers to me, he says, Chaim, put already 1 point water higher. This guy, listen, I can't blame them. It's a bakery that tried to make, why? Because it goes quicker and the women can go, everything goes a little quicker. But for me, I'm not happy because I'm checking the matzahs and I noticed at some point that it's a little too soft. It's not chutim, but something is wrong. Something is wrong. So the guy from the Maida tells me the secret that Chaim just put 1 point water more.
1 point is make a difference.
Yeah,
1 pint or 1 point.
a point on the thing on the keli. 1 point, mamish. I said.
By the end, I see the result.
I started screaming. What happened? Guy comes over. Just put up 1 point of water. Mucha agua.
In other words, it's easier to.
Everything is easier with a little more water.
The less water, the harder it is.
The less water, the harder it is. And if you put enough water, you get a lafa. You shouldn't put it in the coals. Exactly. Mutter lots of day was avalim over off of Bahama. After Matters Achilla, the Kimishachem Godel, Kokach at Yokalafis, and Achem Manichel is Hamas, Al Miad Maskin Lafas, Makomakam, ain't the Yutz, and Nechamaza. I feel the other the fish off of Bahama, any Kori Lechem Klau, La Toyra Oma Lechem Oini. It's unbelievable. Toyra calls it Lechem, and Lechem does not have a din Lechem if it's not baked in a fire. Unless it's bidei adam, a fire that's bidei adam. I don't care. It doesn't have to go in an oven to be. It has to be that it was on a hot surface without mashka. Go in Turkey.
For my wife, when she makes sourdough, it's by the point.
Sourdough is very hard. Yeah.
By the point. I said, what's different? What's the big deal? No.
It's Bedil Kotzum.
Mamash, he said, something off doesn't come out.
Exactly.
I was like, how's possible? What's the big deal? No.
Yeah.
It's known by baking in general versus cooking. That baking has to be very
Right.
exact.
Right.
Size,
Yeah.
so much. Like you said, how much
Right.
is a point?
A
something?
point. 1 point. Like Shamasha.
3% more, like
Right.
5%.
And you know by the end already that it's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Imam Shazai.
Wow.
לכן אם נפה בקרקע גון טורקן, which oisen gumme בקרקע akira, ואoisen neisen sham kemach umayim ma'arvin, Mudavin, Venefa Shafmish, below Sarakamod, like a pancake, like lava. They used to make it Arabs. Till today, they have like in the ground, they have like the Bedouins, they do it. Ad etzem ayom hazeh, they have they add etzem and they love it. They bake it that way.
Go to Olympic.
No, Olympic is
Yeah,
it's a
that.
round one.
No, but I'm saying if you want to make the laffa, they make there.
No, but this Turkinen, they still make it. The karka. The noise and sham.
How much water do you have to, percentage-wise, they have to add on to make it that it should still be matzah k'sheira, but soft like the Sephardim do?
I don't know. There's a proportion. I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying it's all there. It's all about the proportion of water. That's it. That's the. I mean, there's nothing else there.
Not the temperature of heat, nothing.
I don't think so. I think it's more to do with the. I mean,
It's
it's also to do with the heat, probably, because
when I watch the
if you're
guy,
going to have two, then probably the heat has to be less.
Probably on a pizza. Yeah.
Right. You have to have a lesser heat.
when I see the guy put the matzahs in the oven, right? From every wall, they put like 1 or 2 matzahs burning.
Right.
He put like a roll. It's 5 matzahs. Next roll, maybe 3 matzahs. Next one. By the time you put the third one of these matzahs already start burning. It's fast as it going. It's fast as it going. Boom, boom, boom. You know, you put
Yeah,
like
the
one
highest
another.
paying job in a bakery is the guy who's the zetzim, the guy who's at the oven. That's the highest paying job.
We used to have Israeli guy here, remember?
Who Moshe Cohen? No,
No,
Moshe
what's
did
his name? Two
Moshe.
brothers, Kassavas, these
The guy that he has like a mask.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 degrees.
The other
Face
guy
not
that bakes the whole
Right.
And
The Russian granite for years, he did it.
he's drinking,
His name.
Sirota.
Sirota.
You're drinking a gallon of water every day.
Yes. Coffee on
Pavo Bishablaka Rakamod, Bainal of Tsuras Pass, Lachem Varchalam, Amoitzi, Elam Kovitsadosai. We learned about it. We learned about it 2 summers ago, about Turkinen, which is
Otherwise, it
Mazonis.
will be like a carcass.
It's mamish. No, this is mamish like a pancake. It's so soft.
Yeah.
Alva Pekin, it's so soft. It's a pancake, and unless you kevei suda, it's
That's what
mazonis.
Sfardim do, and they make a mitzvah on it.
Alva Pekin on the mitzvah nechlas v'pesach pilach atchila v'shalach ha'mayni shein lo neitanu v'efalach b'karka fakert. It's 100% good. The point it's not a minute. Matzah shenefes ad shem poris ma'isa ein achutam l'mshach l'menu. Alva v'shen frechas k'mishalt alva Pekin yotzim v'afilach atchila. Alva koydem.
What's chutim and shachar?
If you break a matzah that's not baked well, that's how I was saying before. It wasn't at that level, but I've seen in the past such matzahs that it's so soft that when you go and you go with slow motion, there's like little strings.
Strings.
Slow motion, and there's strings.
Like a mastic, you know, like a,
That's a simon that's
bread.
chametz.
It's not like
Yeah,
cracker.
it's a simon that's chametz.
that means that part wasn't baked.
Right.
How is possible? He went to 1,000 degrees. Was there a minute?
It's unusual. Unusual, but it could happen.
And
it's kedai to check. Yeah, it's kedai to check. Not every matzah, but like when you're breaking off and you see, you have to be, because no one's going to know. Eventually, it's going to dry up, and no one's going to know. You can only know this when it's still hot. When it's not hot, because it dries up.
How do you know how long it has to be in the oven?
Color.
To burn out all the chametz, so it should not, it should not burn, but it should eliminate the chametz.
I must say, this year, this is the one downside with the in the past 3 years happened. The bakery we went to, the guy, like at least 10% Pasha went to garbage because they got burnt.
That's what I'm saying.
This guy that they got now, I haven't seen even one matzah get burnt. See, the opposite problem. The bakery is happy, but we're not so happy.
By the time you finish taking out the matzah and you put it on there,
And this is the shiloh. This is what we're talking about now.
Go to the other side. It's already like 15 minutes. It's already getting hot.
Listen, but if you break and you see,
It's for them, they're not so they're soft. But there's no parmesan in it.
I understand. There has to can't be chutim nimshachim men. It's a delicate line.
So how do you know when you're sitting in front of the oven? How do you know when to take it out?
And chochem kaval anisayin. This is part of the experience of knowing how to do
You're
it.
getting a lot of money for that.
Right.
Made after seconds, and the matzah is burning.
לכתחילה יש לזור שלא להוציא מן התנא קודם שנפש כשיר. אז אף שך זה מיד. דכיוון שויס שנקראת איסה יכול עליו לידי חימוס כשחוץ לתנא ומה ולהוציא בין שך זה לבין שלך זה למות לאכילה. That's the first shit. ויש אויסן אפילו החזיר מיד. דכיוון שהמצה חמה יש לו כשמס נסחמצה ברגע אחד זו שהויסה חוץ לתנא כידי החמים לסו מהרס לאחץ אפילו פוחז משיר מיל. כמו שנסבור בסימן תופנון טס, ואף המרדה שיציע בה מהתרנס אסורי כשם נסחמצה בוידה על המרדה חוץ לתנור. There's a chidush that we say in Siman Tofnun Tes that if there is a certain amount of heat, there's a certain amount of heat applied to dough, then even less than the shear of hiluch meal, that it becomes chametz stick.
Doesn't mean
That if there's a little hot, if the table is a little warm,
yeah.
so that dough is going to become chametz in 10 minutes instead of 18 minutes. So, for example, I mean, these are all hidurim that I was trying to do, but like this year, I said to the guy that, there's a guy that puts the sticks, the matzah in the oven. I said, make sure that the fan is working, and because the same sticks they use, you don't use a brand new stick every minute. So, okay, we're using all new kalim. So he charges, I think, $15 a stick of the very long sticks. The regular sticks, I think, $1.50. Maybe $19 a stick. So I said to the guy, are you making sure that, yeah, I'm making sure. I said, in the past 3 months, what is the maximum amount of sticks that a group used? It's a 45 sticks. How much did I pay for? I got 25 sticks. I said, okay, fine, Chaim, give me another 20 sticks. He doesn't care. Everything goes on the Rishima. It was another $314. But that's worthwhile to pay the $300 because the sticks, they mamish are hot. When they come out of the oven, they're very hot. So if you're going to take a stick like this and you put the matzah on it.
I mean the dough.
The dough.
Matzah, yeah, the dough.
So now it becomes chametz unless the shear meal. It becomes chametz unless the shear
It's
meal.
waiting to go into the oven.
Right. So we're saying shear meal is only in the regular.
Don't we send it before?
To send it, I understand. But when it comes out of the oven, these long sticks, they come out of the oven.
Yes.
They're very hot. So the bakery typically has a fan or 2 fans blowing on the sticks, and you sand it and you put it under the fan.
Get ready to.
But so much matzah is coming. So usually we used to use 25 sticks. That was every year, 25 sticks. This year I said, you know what, let me ask, what are other people doing? I don't know what other people do. I only know what we do.
Give me more sticks.
So tell me.
More time to cool.
More time to cool because you have more sticks.
So then
45 sticks.
So then when you put the dough on it, for sure it's not
Right.
chametz because it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have more time to cool it.
He's very happy. Every extra stick I buy, I'm not taking home the sticks. I mean, the bowls I bring usually back to basement Menachem. This year I didn't schlep it because Machaya, these Avi, and what's it called, they make a set. Each one of these bowls we pay $25 for, and they're expensive bowls. They're not these are super.
Right.
And if you have to toivel it, Machaya,
So
whatever.
if you don't take it, you'll keep it.
He keeps it. I don't take it. He keeps it. Long sticks. I don't take it. He keeps it. Regular.
You reuse them.
He uses it. Tomorrow he's baking with it.
Right.
Machai, he doesn't have to pay for it.
I get it.
But you don't need more people if you have more sticks.
No,
It's more time to cool.
it's just more time to cool. Yeah. So I have
You
45.
Every 18 minutes, do they have to reclaiming the sticks?
No, yeah, for sure. Not every 18 minutes. What we're doing is every time it touches the dough. But I'm saying, what's the point of this hidur? Is because the idea is that Chazal said sheer meal is only under regular circumstances. But if there's chamimus, it could be less than 18 minutes. How much less? Half the time, a quarter of the time.
Why don't you use a stainless steel stick?
The reason we don't use azoy. There's a big dispute about this. There's half the matzah bakeries do use it and half don't.
Okay.
What's the
Why? In America, most matzah bakeries only use wood sticks.
Oh,
In Eretz Yisrael, a lot of them use stainless steel. What's the discussion about the stainless steel?
conducts heat.
Atazai conducts heat. Yesh omrim that barzel conducts heat very strongly,
All right.
but stainless steel is magic. It doesn't. Yesh omrim, not true. It's a machlokes metzias a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. So most of the matzah. I mean, I haven't seen one bakery in New York. I'm talking from the bakeries I went around that uses metal sticks. They all use wood sticks. But I know in Eretz Yisrael,
Because the metal, you can clean it much faster.
much easier. Machaya.
Much easier. You don't even need
Yeah.
the roll, like a
you don't
stainless
need,
steel roll,
right.
to clean it.
All the pizza store use
Use, yeah. It tastes better from all the schmutz that's on it. You know, the older it gets, the older it gets, the tastier the pizza
It's
is.
safer because it's not conducting heat when you use wood.
Right, right.
When you put it in the oven, the heat doesn't burn the person's hand.
You don't
Metal.
leave it in the oven.
I know, but metal will
Wood.
get hot very quickly.
Right.
Oh, metal you can leave?
Yeah.
Oh,
Get
the metal
very
get
quickly.
The reason bakers, when you're mixing, when you're making it with your kids' chocolate pudding lamazan, so you better use a wood spoon. Why wood spoon? Because if it falls to the side and your child will pick up the spoon, chas from they get burnt. It's a wood spoon they want because wood doesn't hold the heat,
not so fast.
right? So you never made chocolate pudding with your kids?
You did, we forgot.
Forgot.
100 years ago.
Oh, gee, it's okay.
Okay.
You're telling us your age now. So
Age is only number.
yeah.
It can be 70, but I feel like 40. So,
Oh Hashem.
But that's it. I know in Eretz Yisrael there's a lot of choshev bakeries. They have a hechsher, they dechredis. I mean, they have good hechsherim that they
Dafka only stainless steel.
right. They dafka use stainless steel. They say that's better, and it washes off in a second. That's it.
Yeah,
The wood
better.
sticks.
Sandpaper.
You have
Sandpaper.
sandpapers. Now,
The sandpaper
Now-
also give you heat. When you go like this, back
right,
and forth,
right,
you
right.
also
So
make it
that's
happen.
again also the sticks. You have to like make sure that the sticks
Yeah,
are
when
not
the
going
sticks,
back
it's
on the
good.
table when it's still hot, because when you sand it, it goes
Friction.
through. Right, it makes.
what happens if the wood stick have a crack? Haritzim. It's okay?
That's the mile of the stainless
Right,
steel.
doesn't
Oh,
That's the mile of the stainless steel.
doesn't get this.
There's no charitzim. It's not shayach. Here, you could buy brand new ones, and you're looking under the light if it has a charitz. But sometimes you don't have, because the color of the dough and the color of the wood is the same thing.
Right.
So even though there's a strong light, and you're telling the boys that are, but you can't catch it. Stainless steel, machaya. You wash it up, you wipe it,
Shiny. It's shiny.
it
In
shines.
Israel, they make also larger matzahs. The matzahs are much
You make it
larger.
larger too.
Chabad doesn't because they export. But the
Uh-huh.
matzahs are much larger than that.
I came over from Chabad,
Yeah.
and I told the Rebbe, I learn in physics what's the metal made out, what it take to eat, and all this. And the best if we make the table that you make so after the guy do the mire, you take the whole piece of dough, and a guy has on a table like a big stick, and he right.
Right, because it's supposed to work with the whole time with
Yes,
the dough.
and then this piece of this dough go to the table with the pig and it puts down. So he said, if I make stainless steel, it doesn't get hot, and nothing stick there. Push nothing stick. So the Rebbe said, yeah, you should change it. So in the beginning, was people like, a new rove and come up with no idea and this. I said, I went to Ichides. That's what the Rebbe told me to do. That's what I'm going to do. And
But the pile in the Crown Heights bakery is still using wood.
I'm saying, but this
Yeah, I heard about that. I know. Okay, let's go test. And to say that the once a matzah went out, if it was soft and was chutin mshachim, it's not redeemable. You can't make it kosher again. If you have a suffix, You should say no good. Didn't get black. You do
What do we black? No, matzah got black.
no black. But there's a color to it.
But
There's a
when we
color
come
to
to the Seder to open the matzah, and it's already too late to check now.
Yeah.
I think that's why my parents don't put the matzah back in the oven.
Uh-huh.
That's minute. I don't know.
Interesting. They don't want to put it in the oven.
Because of what?
Think of sound similar to this.
They
you
might
don't-
be
they-
that something wasn't cooking. Now
And you wouldn't know.
So
Cooking shach.
He didn't. He just put it back in the Talmud. יש להתיר עם קורמה פני הקצץ, כששיא ויש לסמוך על וזל צבא ראשונה, שלא להחזיק איסר מסף גלם השם הישון ג'ונמה. But that's if he already did it.
matzah came out from the oven. You want to put it back?
Yeah,
He did, right?
He did. He put it back, and he never checked. He never checked.
The first time,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, he didn't check if chutin nimshach and not chutin nimshach.
So it could be like it wasn't baked the first time.
Right. So he's saying
and now you
if it's karmu panel, even though he didn't check, so we're not machzik isur, and we're makel, and we say like the other opinion that even if it had chutin nimshach,
it's already baked.
machnu shtos. Like I said, it's unusual to have chutin nimshach, but it does happen. You can't say it never happens. ואמר דמייציו בו מצה שחוט המשך ממנו אין לו יצא לכתחילה שלא יצא בו מצה אבל דיעבד יש לזה מסור לשנה שלו לא יצא מצה שיצא באחי כך דיעבד if you're ready to use the marda you could say it's fine the spatula that יוצא דמיני חבוס מצה שרויה במים לחף יוס okay the Alter Rebbe has a chumra not in the Shulchan Aruch the Alter Rebbe holds a matza shruya is very makpid. But here in the Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe was for everybody, which the Alter Rebbe was that matzah shrui is beseder. V'ushelo nimche. V'afa b'shen es matzah v'mayim lo yotz machal lechem kol d'man shalai nemoicha legamri. If it was nemoicha legamri, it doesn't have the din of lechem anymore. M'chol makal chatchilo tov shelo lotz matzah shrui mken uzok mechel v'kash shelo lechem matzah yibesha os sheren le b'mayim. The lechatchilo, you shouldn't ruin the tam matzah through soaking it in water. Tzarech lizor shelo yinishres v'mayim chav dalachos shkol anishre meis las nekrekovish. V'reihu k'mavushel v'nyoitzim v'matzah mavushalas k'moshe yizmor. So if it's sitting in the water for 24 hours, it's like matzah mavushalas, and you can't be yoitzim. Tzarech lizor lishres kazai shalom b'yachem. Lim yishre prusas b'chusas mikazais ein yoitzim v'yedei chvosem nishre kolkach ad shenislablu hamayim. Again, this is something we once learned. We actually learned in the Sugya then, the Daf Lamed Zayin and Barachas, that Tosfos said that Rabbeinu Yosef, that he used to, in the morning, after Shacharis, he used to run to give his shir, and he wanted to eat a piece of mezainis. He didn't want to wash it. He wanted to eat a piece of mezainis. But there wasn't. He didn't have a Sravitsky bakery or Isaac's bakery. Or, he didn't have the New York Mazonis industry. They had only bread. So he used to, before he used to go to sleep, he used to take, that's what Tyson says. They used to take a cup of water and he used to put in their little pieces, break up pieces of bread. And the water used to be mislabin. And then the bread was so distorted that the bracha was mazonis. Because he wanted to just take a little snack. Laman yischazak roishei. Sheyuchel lahagid hashir. These are the words of Tosfos. Laman chazak roishe kedei sheyuchel lahagid hashir. What would have Isaac Bakery just buy himself Danish? Danish. So if you put pieces that are less than a kazayis and the water wasn't a slaben, so now this is neshama ois lechem. Ois lechem. Allah yishir al b'mayim, Allah b'shem mashkim, me'peiris al b'mor, b'shem me'pikin tam matzah, sh'neitzim al-tam shalom, av b'shem tzarok she'item tam matzah v'piv, afilu b'al matzah, v'la yilos al yotzikum oi, she'idbar b'shem v'taf ha'inem, v'tom ha'kam matzah atzma, tzarok she'yir b'tam matzah, v'lo she'yufik tam ha'idei tam acher. The matzah has to be tam matzah. Now, if you crunched it up and you didn't taste tam matzah, it doesn't matter. But the matzah itself, the gavra machne shtois, but the chefetz, the matzah has to have tam matzah in it. So if you're going to soak it in water, it's fine. But if you're going to soak it in milk, you're going to soak it in wine, So you're ruining the tam matzah. You're not supposed to do it. Okay, next if we can learn that we could be makel for zaken v'chayla, but otherwise you shouldn't be makel.
Like what people that had not even enough to eat matzah.
So they should soak in water.
It's what
Now, it's a problem for if those that are maked the mayim sharuya.
right, what
It's a
matzah guy
big-
had not eat.
So the Bavitcher guy has no teeth. It's a big problem.
What does he do?
So for the rest of Yom Tov, you could be sure to eat in yayin. You have to make sure to get yayin that's mamish pure yayin.
To make a mitzi. Yeah, it's a mitzi. Why does it need?
Yeah, for a mitzvah, it's a mitzvah. So he could take even though most of the wines that I see when we were doing it at the beginning of this winter, I gave a few shuttle down. So I called a few
Mixed with
companies.
water?
No, so a few things I could never get straight because of that. But I've talked to a few mashgichim that specialize in wine. No, I didn't talk to him. I spoke to there's a mashgiach that a lot of the hashkochas use him on the West Coast. I forget his name. Spoke to him. Oh, you uses him. Other hashkochas use him, and he
How
said,
much
"Look,"
water?
he said, when they get the water, then they have to get the wine from here to there. So they pump water, and then the water makes that the wine should move.
Right.
So a little bit of water ends up in the wine. So you can't say but the pile, if you get wine, the taka has no water in it, you could show you the matzah and yayin. The problem is, Belela say that you're not supposed to do it. But except for zakam v'chayli, it could be makel.
Meaning that better you should have matzah shuya than not eating it.
Yeah, if he's not going to eat matzah at all. The best thing is,
Does it take away the bracha one?
huh?
What does it make?
No, they only if it's kovda, if it's mesles, or he put smaller pieces in a kazayas, and it would have been in water, would have been the slab. If the bigger pieces and less than chovda luchos mesles, and this guy needs a kazayas. He puts a little more than a kazayas. He puts in the wine. Chazakam v'choyla, ein breda. What else can you do? Okay, we'll stop at this. Mitzvah Hashem. Next week we'll continue. Well, I want to finish the simon because I want to go through full and fuch. It's very because so maybe no. Hashgacha Pratis didn't get to it. Tomorrow I have to go back to the bakery. Blina that I'll remember and I'll bring some samples from full and fuch, and we'll continue it next week.
Full pound bakery, like only full.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Sometimes, some years I remember it was like,
No, it's still a
doesn't
little.
want to
They don't have enough workers.
It doesn't have.
I guess people.
Everybody wants
It's
to
a hard
high
job.
these days.
Right, it's a hard job.
Physically, you're breaking your back. You're breaking your
Thank you for joining us.
They don't pay much either.
Yeah,
See you.
all right.